start. This is my name, Hamza Alsayouf, and I work in the new health for GLT. Unfortunately, till now it's not open. It will open soon. We have been working on that for the last 9 months, and hopefully it's not going to take more than a few weeks more. And this is our website, American Child Neurology UAE, that we will talk about later on. Can you hear me very well? Okay. Now today, we're going to talk about pediatric epilepsy, and we're going to talk about the paroxysmal non-epileptic spells in children. I'm just going to give you an overview. I did my medical school in Georgia University of Science and Technology, and I did my pediatric training at Texas Tech University, so you can notice I latched on to the Texan accent early on. I got also my child neurology training at Ohio State University Nationwide Children's Hospital. I worked in the child neurologist at Mercy Catholic Hospital, D. Mall, Iowa, and I was a consultant child neurologist at Mafraq Hospital in Abu Dhabi for 1.5 years, and then decided to move to Dubai. Now, this is a Canadian Lung Association. They will always tell you, if you cannot breathe, nothing else matters. As a neurologist, I usually would tell you, and I strongly back up my word, if you lose your mind, nothing else matters. So that is why neurology is really, really important, because your brain dictates what you do in life. Now, Canadian Lung Association also tell you smoking will kill you, so don't do smoking. Don't enjoy smoking. In neurology, we tell you, please enjoy marijuana. It is a treatment for seizure. So stick to neurology, and we always have you guys. All right, now epilepsy. That is probably the bread and butter of what we do in the practice. I'm going to start first with the what is epilepsy. Epilepsy is, as a definition, is recurrent unprovoked seizure. So it should not be provoked. And the seizure is a transient, abnormal, hypersynchronous neuronal discharge that can be associated with the clinical signs and might not be associated with the clinical signs. Just to set the stage for the talk. So basically, your neurons gone wild. That is a seizure. Now here, I want you guys to watch this video, and I want to tell me what you guys think is. What do you think is this? I want it to be very interactive. This is a guy, he's not doing. I'm sorry, it is word playing here, but not playing on the screen.
If you do monitor only, it will play here and won't play here.
Huh?
Try to do this one forward, and then it will play only here, but you may lose it there.
Yeah, so how can you that?
Try this.
So I play it like this?
Just click on the
Here, okay. Thank you, Kamil. So I want you to watch this guy and see he's sitting down. He's having an EEG done, and it's not a haircut. And this guy is doing his EEG, and the guy start to have something. And I thought he was going to do something. Probably change his mind, but it's going to come. All of a sudden, this guy start, hit the drop, start jerking. The other guys, basically, I don't think he ever had bowels. He, suffocated him and holding him down. So after you see this, guys, what do you think is your diagnosis? This is a patient, partial onset seizure, start jerking one hand. This is a generalized onset seizure, all of a sudden collapse. It is psychogenic. He is basically, it's all in his head. It is syncopal attack or you can say, I want to ask a friend, but it's not going to be me.
It's generalized also.
Generalized, bad. Generalized, Muhammad.
Cinco.
Think about that. You cannot be a friend also. Okay. Then, that is question number one. When you are dealing with an event, the most important thing to do is to see if the event you are dealing with is severe or not. And I will tell you later on, 40% of refractory pediatric epilepsy are non-epileptic. And we'll talk about that in a minute. So the first question you are talking about, was an event a seizure? If you have an event, always ask, is the event a seizure or not? You can always history and physical exam, just like the medical school. When you think there's no rules, please stick with the basic rules. And we'll tell you more about this. History, you can ask the patient if he can answer you, and or a witness. A lot of the time I tell the family, would you please do me a favor and get the video for me? And this can make a whole world of difference in this state. Very important, loss of consciousness, loss of sphincter control, tongue biting, these all are indication that this might be seizure. Post-ictal state, eyes open or closed. Believe it or not, 95% of people who are seizing with the eyes are closed are psychogenic. So with eye closed, and you can diagnose psychogenic seizure, and they have seen it a lot. And history of spacing out or acting lost. A lot of the time, you know, the one of the public, the very common story I have a child, a neurologist, working at Ohio State University, 35 experience. He's among the most or the smartest neurologist I have ever seen. He was from Indian origin. His son was having seizure for 19 years, and he did not realize that. He said, oh, I thought he was in his own world. He was sitting, and he was having seizure for 19 years, until he had generalized chronic seizure. When they did the EEG, there was a lot of spikes. Just took one EEG to diagnose it. Now, history of CNS insult, infection, or injury, we have to rule this in pediatric. And family history, if the mom tell you, I have a seizure, my father has a seizure, 3 aunts are having a seizure, 3 paternal aunts has a seizure, do you think my son has a seizure? Of course he would have a seizure, okay? Because this is a very strong family history for primary generalized epilepsy. Now, what are the physical examination? Neurocutaneous finding, I always look for that. We'll talk about head circumference, micro or macro, that is always important. Wood-Lamb exam in infantile spasm, looking for ash-leaf spot. Sometimes you have to examine the family, but if you examine the patient, I would be more than happy if I do it myself. Dysmorphic feature or funny-looking face. If you look at the kid and he does not look like his mom or his dad, you know there's something wrong. Now, this is a coffee or 8 spots, axillary frickling, neurofibromatosis, big one, iris hamartoma, as we see neurofibromatosis. So please, when you ask the family, I have seen a patient, she had a neurofibromatosis diagnosed 10 years ago. Her daughter has macrocephaly, seizure, coffee-related spots. I was asking her, this was in USA. Does anyone has family has neurofibromatosis? No, doctor, nobody. I tell them, anyone has lumps that has to be taken out? She said, yes, I used to have it. And they told her, please don't do that. She was diagnosed with neurofibromatosis 10 years ago, and she forget what was her diagnosis, the mom. So it's very important sometimes to tease out the history. Now, this is adenoma sebaceum, ash leaf, very important in fair-skinned people to do Wood-Lamb exam, and Chagrin patch and tuberous sclerosis. I wanna, this is beyond my control, a seizure is closed, by Stuart Ross McCollum. This is to reinforce how important is neurology, or how important when you lose your mind. I want you to live with me a few moments of strong emotions. So the guy was saying, you know, beyond my control, a seizure is closed. He is describing what was happening to him because of seizure. It is here again, the sinister sensation of an aura that I know only too well. Searching for a safe place to lay down as I descend into my private hell. I shout out loud, it's happening again. It's beyond my control. Dropping down heavily, my head hits the floor. Feeling horrid, my mind and body is no longer in my control. Twitching, shaking, and staring into space, I black out. Arriving back to consciousness, all I can see are many pairs of shoes. He's on the floor, and people are around him. I began to apologize after what just happened. I have nothing to lose. Standing up, leaving my pride, and dignity back there on the ground. People began to walk away while some glanced back around. No need to feel so embarrassed. I keep telling myself nothing wrong with my state of mental health. It is beyond my control. I can't stop it. And only it decide when I will suffer my next episode. So that is a guy who has been suffering from seizure. You know how much seizure can be devastating for a patient. Now, question number 2. We decided this is a seizure. Now we're going to move to the question number 2. Is the seizure provoked or unprovoked? I'm sorry, it has to be in a slideshow. How can I do it? So I can.
Yeah.
Where's the? I can see it. So the second question: is it a provoked seizure or is it unprovoked seizure? There is a mnemonic called vitamins. This vitamins is basically tell you what is the things that can.
Keep going.
Keep going, go.
Keep going.
Now one more. Yes. So vitamin. It could be vascular, stroke. You can have seizure with stroke. It can be infectious in children. We have to be careful with that. Traumatic head injury, autoimmune, metabolic, iatrogenic, neoplastic, structural. Cortical dysplasia or heterotopia that can cause a seizure, and we can still call it epilepsy, even though. Very important message to take home. Unprovoked seizure within 24 hours of documented fever in a patient age 1 month to 6 years with no previous afebrile seizure is febrile seizure until proven otherwise, after you rule out the CNS infection. It's very important. Now the seizure diagnosis. Now we'll come to the black magic. Our secret weapon, EEG. Why do I need to do EEG? It's very important to do an EEG. It helps diagnose seizure. I just told you about the guy who has seizing for 19 years. And we have seen people treated for multiple personality disorders. And when we do the EEG, they are on and off with seizure. I have seen it in one case myself. It classifies seizure. Is it partial onset? Is it generalized onset? It's very important to know because you need to choose the medication. Help in prognosis. If you have a 13-year-old girl with spike waves and with myoclonic seizure and generalized tonic-clonic seizure, you know this girl had JME and she's going to be on medication pretty much for the rest of her life. So it's very important. And guided treatment. One of the things, two seizures. Infantile spasm, I would love and I should push for normalization of the EEG. Absence epilepsy, we do ambulatory hour, 24 hours, to make sure that they are absence seizure free, especially if they are driving. It's very important. Now, there's 2 types of EEG, ectal, when the patient is seizing, we hardly ever catch that, or intra-ectal, which is what we do all the time, between episodes. The patient comes to you to the clinic, you do an EEG, he's not seizing. If you do one EEG, you capture 50% of the abnormality. If you do 3 EEG, you will capture 85% of the kids who have seizure. 15%, they will never ever have any intra-ectal abnormality. So 3 EEG is normal, does not rule out seizure. That's where we go to ambulatory EEG. Now, seizure diagnosis. What else I need to do? MRI of the brain until proven otherwise. It has to be done on every single patient. And please look at the MRI yourself, even if you don't know what you are looking at. I review every single MRI myself. I have to. Because a lot of the time, thread normal is abnormal. Thread abnormal is thread normal. We have brain herniation, that's normal. We have seen disasters. Now, there's something called long-term EEG monitoring, which is the video. They put the kid in the room. They put the video, they put the EEG, and monitor it. We don't have this luxury, but we have what we call ambulatory EEG. Small, fancy, dandy machine. Put them on the side. Hook the kid, send them home, come back. Make sure you get their address because it's expensive the machine. They come back. We do a 24-hour, 48-hour EEG, and we have it in our clinical GLT. It's extremely helpful. This machine. Why we need to do that? Non-epileptic events, because a lot of the time, 40% of the refractory seizure, they are non-epileptic. I tell you about recent story. I have a kid, I keep pushing the medication, I keep changing the medication, and he's not responding. And I don't have the luxury of doing the video EEG. So I did prolong the EEG. And of course, we captured the evidence, and they are absolutely non-epileptic. So we saved him off a medication. He had a seizure, but the event he was having, they are not seizure. So I kept him on his original dose, and I did not push up the dose or add another medication. Now, classify seizure type. A lot of the time we don't know what we are dealing with. One of the kids woke up by the middle of the night, attacked the curtain, ripped them off, bring his brother up and throw him down on the floor, and he was treated as night terrors. Ambulatory EEG, frontal lobe epilepsy. And he was a big lawsuit case for the family. Because how come you did not do ambulatory? Because they're not going to tell you it's expensive. They will tell you, how come you did not do it? So we treated him, yes, Muhammad, please.
How long do you usually send these kids with ambulatory EEG? Is there a threshold beyond which the sensitivity is high enough?
Excellent. We do, if you get the seizure or the typical event, you have to tell them the typical event. Within the first 24 hours, bring the patient back. If you don't capture it, go as long as the insurance approve 2 or 3. We have done up to 96 hours, 5 days. The machine we can do up to 3 days. Now, as we said, we help diagnose the epilepsy, document improvement, as in the case of absence epilepsy, and we'll show you a case in a few minutes. And then we'll come to the fancy dandy studies that we don't have, unfortunately, in here, or if we have it, we don't know how to interpret them very well. SPEC, PET, MEG, we don't do them a lot yet. Now this patient, hopefully, is going to work now.
I thought the SPEC would happen.
Yeah, but we can do it, but I don't know how helpful it is. This patient, hyperventilating, all of a sudden. Look at the EEG, very nice, clean. She told him, snap your finger. Nothing. You see?
Close his eyes.
Eyes are closed. It's excellent. Dr. Fadl, you got it. So now she will tell him. She told him, snap your finger, and he snapped his finger. So, based on that, guys, drug of choice for this patient is Solthia, Lamictal, Tubamax, ethosuximide, Kebra. So it's a seizure.
None of the above.
None of the above. Excellent. Who would vote for?
Say Valium.
Valium. Yes. Or
Give him just marijuana.
psychiatric counseling. So this is a typical absence epilepsy. The patient stopped, snap your finger. He would not snap his finger, and right after the start, stop. Snap your finger. He would snap his finger. So this is drug of choice is ethosuximide, Zerontin or Dibecl. Lamictal is a third choice. I don't use it much. Now the question number 3. We know it's a seizure. We know it's unprovoked. What type of a seizure? Okay. As a simple country epileptologist or child neurologist, I still classify it as focal onset. Start in one place and separate down. This is focal onset. Or generalized onset. The focal onset, we'll talk more about them. Simple consciousness preserved. The patient is awake, as he sees it, right? Typical binaural epilepsy. The patient is twitching, but he's awake, he can't communicate, he's drooling. Or complex consciousness impaired. You don't have to lose your consciousness completely, and that's a challenge. Plus, minus, automatism. And either one of these can secondarily generalize. And if it's secondary consciousness by definition, if you have bilateral involvement of the cerebral hemisphere, or if you are twitching on both sides, by definition, you have to be unconscious, except in 1 and 2 seizure. If it is psychogenic or the true seizure, the only true seizure that can cause is supplementary motor seizure, which is very rare. Probably in another lecture we'll show that. You can seize bilateral, but you're still awake. Except only seizure will do that supplementary motor cortex seizure. Okay. Now this is our secret weapon. This is the reference. So frontopolar, frontal, temporal, central, occipital, even right, odd left. So she has right temporal, mid temporal, posterior temporal discharge. Very easy. You really don't have even to do training to read that. Very simple, right? Now, the generalized seizure. Generalized seizure, from the beginning, bilateral involvement, you should lose your consciousness. No way around, except the supplementary motor cortex. So, tonic, sustained contraction, clonic, tonic-clonic combination. Atonic, you collapse. All of a sudden, you collapse and hit the floor. You don't jerk and hit the floor. You collapse and hit the floor. Okay? Atonic, this is myoclonic, sudden, fast, involuntary movement. You do this. This is myoclonic. And absence, sudden, brief, and consciousness, as we said. This is an EEG in generalized seizure. Start everywhere at the same time. If you tell me this is a girl is 12 years old, I'll tell you this is abnormal generalized spike pulse back wave discharges, most likely consistent with juvenile myoclonic epilepsy. And drug of choice is Dibakine in girls. I would stay away from that. Now, anybody knows that? How do you say it? Colossia? No, I don't know. Colossia. Okay. It used to be covered here in the old days, and people here used to fight to death. Gladiators. Yes, I forget the word. Gladiator. They fight. Lion against human being, human being against human being. You know, they fight, and the problem with the fight is fight until death. You have to die. No way around. Okay.
One of them have to die, not both.
What is that?
One of them have to die.
Absolutely, but the second you go for a second one. Okay, right. So, so when they die, they drag them through these doors. They drag them, they are bleeding. What they do, they go run and collect the blood before they go through these doors. Here. Do you know anybody know why do they collect the blood?
Sometimes they did blood therapy, especially for some people who were vampires and all, used to do blood therapy.
Excellent, excellent. Because this was the drug of choice for seizure at that day. Drug of choice for seizure, blood collected from a gladiator dying and bleeding, being dragged through the windows. Salem witch trial. Salem witch trial. This happened in the 1600s. The people who has epilepsy, they were thought they are doing witchcraft. So what they did, some of them were beheaded here, some of them were fired to death, right? And some of them they were stoned, and some of them continued to seize for later days. So that is what some of the history about seizure treatment. I promise you, we're not going to do this to your patients, so don't be scared to send them to me. Now, very important, and I want to emphasize this big time, treatment principles. When you think you are in the middle of area or time of no rules, go to the basic rules, please. Treatment principle. Treat underlying etiology if it is known. That's why you need to do an EEG, MRI, or if there's infection, you need to do LP. Extremely important. Establish correct seizure time. Why? Because you're going to match the drug to the seizure time. Begin with 1 drug to max, change up to 3 before combination. We just in the last 2 weeks had 2 patients, one of them refractory epilepsy, 60 seizures a day over 2 months. 60. My colleagues consulted me. 60. He was seen by so many physicians. I am a simple country epileptologist. What can I do? I don't have the crystal ball. So I found out that he's on 4 seizure medication, none of them on the max dose. We took that drug of choice and we pumped it up. Within 48 hours, the patient was seizure free. You see how important to push the medication to the max. Don't add another medication. This is extremely common. If you happen to have a seizure patient, look at their medication and look at that dose. You will find 3 or 4 medications, none of them at the max dose. This week we got another patient. He's also in the hospital. He has been seized 1 or 2 times for the last 2 months. And the dad was in the hospital. We just pushed 1 medication up to the max. The patient was seizure free since admission. It's a simple trick. Just push to the max. Don't add another medication. Now, base dose on body weight, yes, because we are pediatric. Use drug level as appropriate. Okay? Be aware of age-specific issue. If she is 12 years old, don't put her Dibakine, because it can cause hirsutism, it can cause obesity, it can cause polycystic ovary syndrome, and if she gets pregnant in the Western country, it is the worst seizure medication for pregnant lady. Now, counsel patient about seizure, precaution. Please think about driving restriction. There are states in the United States, they can drive at 14. Please tell the family you cannot drive until you are seizure free for 6 months. Write it on the chart, write it on the wall, write it in your phone, because it is very important. I will tell you why. And medication side effect, tell them about it. Tell them, Dibakine might elevate your liver enzyme. Because if the liver enzyme elevated, it could be reversible. You're going to be the worst child.
Before it was 2 years, why it's brought down to 6 months now?
What's
Before
that?
it used to be 2 years seizure free, then you can drive, but why it's now 6 months? Any, especially?
No, it's dependent on the state. Some states are 3 months, some states are 4 months, some states are 6 months.
No, but before it used to be 2 years in many countries.
Yes, but in the state it depends. Yeah, the state where I used to practice, it was 6 months. 6 months or higher. Okay. Now, I'll tell you about the medication. Luckily we have almost 20 seizure medication. We have a luxury of medication. I'm going to tell you about 5. Valproate, Dibakine, Lamotrigine, Keppra, Levetiracetam, my favorite. I call it vitamin K. I love it to death. Tobramate and Zonisamide. These are broad spectrum anti-seizure medication. You can use them for partial. You can use them for generalized onset. Okay. Drug of choice for partial onset seizure, not vitamin D, not Dibakine, Triliptin, oxycarbazepine. Dibakine is being used left and right on every single patient here. And every time you send me a patient Dibakine, I'll be more than happy to see the patient, but I will take him off the Dibakine and put another medication, Triliptin. I have been here less than 2 years. I might change my practice, but this is the way I usually do it. Go for partial onset, Triliptin, oxycarbazepine, or if they don't have money, you can go for Tigratol. Okay? Now, my tricks, neonate, phenobarbital, phenytoin, and Keppra. Keppra, avoid the psychiatric patient, because they can become crazy in you, and you don't want to do that, okay? Dibakine, avoid in less than 2 years, which is usually here is used less than 2 years, and adolescent girls. Tubamax, good for overweight. If she's 200 kilo, you might want to put her in Tubamax. So when she loses a little weight, and she's going to be happy with you, or he's going to be happy. Lamictal, good in delayed, depressed, and bipolar, because it's a mood stabilizer. It will stabilize the mood, okay? Now, we said, you really have to document the seizure precautions, and you tell the family about it. This is a lady, she's driving a Mercedes, and this is a poor guy. He's walking across the street. The traffic light is red. He has a bag, and he's walking. All of a sudden, he's flying. His bag is flying. And she has no clue what is happening. Can you see? Has no clue. This is the patient with seizure. She had seizure. That's captured on in reality. And if you look at her, lights on and nobody is on. And luckily she was even listening to music. And I'll tell you which music she was listening to. And gonna come. Patient. Up. She was listening to Mr. She was feeling good, but this guy apparently was not feeling good at all. He was flying. So this is why you have to document in the chart, don't drive before 6 months seizure free. Okay? Other epilepsy treatment, surgery, location like real estate. If seizure always comes from the left and the right hand is seizing, I do MRI, there's abnormality in the left, you might want to tunnel him to somebody who does the surgery, if he's not well controlled. What about the ketogenic diet? It helps 40% of the patient. It is not normal or natural, and there's the vagus nerve stimulator. 50% of the patient will have more than 50% improvement in their seizure. After you look at their medication and after you maximize their medication and make sure they are not on 3 medications, none of them is near the highest dose. Okay? Now, as I have shown you in the lecture, healthy mind, healthy body. They say healthy body, healthy mind. I say healthy mind is a healthy body. And unhealthy mind, even in a healthy body, will ultimately destroy your health. And Manny P. Hall is the one who said that. You guys have any questions? This is conclude the first part.
I think we better go to the second one at the end because we'll be late for dinner.
No, we are going to be in time. I don't miss out with food. Okay. Non-epileptic paroxysmal event. ELA defined it as Clinical manifestation is presented to be unrelated to an abnormal and excessive discharge, to the seizure, of a set of neurons of the brain, including disturbance in brain function or pseudoseizure. Basically, it's any event that does not correlate or does not have a neuronal erosion in the brain. Okay? Paroxysmal event, it can be epileptic, tunnel them to me. It can be non-epileptic, psychologic, you see them psychiatrist, organic or physiologic, you might want to tunnel them to Dr. Hamza for pediatric cardiology, because it can cause that. Facts. I want you to just pay attention to the fact, please, if you can. The misdiagnosis of epilepsy in children with refractory seizure is as high as 40%. Can you believe that? That is, when you come, or when I do an ambulatory EEG or video EEG, and it costs the family 5,000 dirham, you know, it might save a whole lot of stress and a whole lot of psychogenic impaction on the kid. Believe me, it is as high as 40%, and this is quoted from Rabaid and Mikat. It's very important to make sure what we are dealing is a seizure. Large population of children, they are unnecessarily subjected to the burden of treatment because they are non-epileptic. Epileptic and non-epileptic paroxysm, they can present the same way. And infants are very prone to developing a non-epileptic episode because they are immature in their neurons, in their brain. Okay? Here, this is, and I put this one here. I know it's a busy slide. I do apologize for that, but I put it, and the reason for that, I want to see, this is a simple chart. Tell you, there is non-epileptic event that come as generalized paroxysm and drop attacks. Some of them come as jerk and abnormal posture, oculomotor abnormality, and sleep disorder, and divided based on age. So if you have an infant with abnormal generalized paroxysm, you can think about apnea, hyperexplexia as a non-epileptic event. Okay? For example, if you have a kid with oculomotor abnormality, you can have paroxysmal tonic upward gaze deviation. Please make sure you are not missing obsoclonus myoclonus. We just diagnosed like towards the last year with just the typical thing. It's conjugate chaotic abnormal movement of the brain. It has to be conjugate together. Okay. Here, tell you how you can, differentiate between, for example, vasovagal or syncopal attack, okay, and between the other psychogenic disorders. One of the things that I find very helpful, and we'll discuss in the coming video, eye closed or open, and hip thrusting, side-to-side movement, okay, and fatigability, and I'll show you in a minute. Now, this is a case I have encountered in Ohio State. I was on call as a fellow, and they called us, and they called the consultant child neurologist on call for sudden onset right hemiplegia, dense hemiplegia, which I mean subcortical, internal capsule, completely paralyzed, okay, everything, aphasic, and they did the head CAT scan. We do in the acute stroke to make sure there's no bleeding. We are not dealing with a tumor that tipped the kid over. And when I came in, that child neurologist, one of our attending, was having special protocol for using TBA in children. So that's a typical case, right? Yeah, and how often do you see that? Like, once every blue moon. So he was discussing with the family what are the side effects and what we should do, and the physical finding completely fit with the acute stroke. No one would, fault you. But I want you guys to choose what would you do next. First, give him TBA, as we don't want to lose the window period. It's a stroke until proven otherwise. The window period is 3 hours, right? CT is normal, there's no hemorrhage. We're not dealing with brain tumor. Go ahead and give him TBA. I would like to open quick diffusion-weighted MRI to confirm the diagnosis. This is the special cut in the MRI we call diffusion-weighted, and here the stroke. Look at the stroke. It will show up like this. Very simple. Go to diffusion-weighted, you will see it is a stroke. Of course, there is a lot into it, but this is simple. I need more history. Second opinion. You might want to call Dr. Hamza to see if it's cardiac knowledge. None of the above.
Was it a boy or a girl?
He was a boy.
I need more history.
Absolutely.
More history.
More history. Yeah, go to the basic history physical exam. What kind of history do you want?
Well, was there an intimidating event?
Yes.
Okay. Has this happened before, or is this the first episode? Was there a history of trauma? And then physical examination.
Excellent. That's what I want to do. I need more history. The one thing, again, I would not fault, a general pediatrician or internal medicine who can see this once in the blue moon to do, go ahead and think about TBA. We came and we asked the family one question. We told them, do you guys have headache in the family? They said, yes, I have a migraine. And his answer and that was, yes, they do have migraines. Then, we talked to the consultant, we might want to hold off.
We have a pediatric migraine for the
It was hemiplegic migraine. This case was hemiplegic migraine. So history and physical exam, extremely important. Okay? So a hemiplegic migraine, a rare type of migraine, they come with typical stroke-like episode. Usually you need to make sure you evaluate them with MRI to exclude stroke and at least diffusion-weighted images. Plus you need to do an EEG. Why? To rule out thought paralysis. So it is a diagnosis of exclusion. But if you want to do invasive state, you might as well do diffusion-weighted image to document it's a stroke.
No
Okay?
role of carotid angiogram.
What is that?
Carotid angiogram, because sometimes motor can also present like the same.
Right. But this kid went back to normal and he had another episode 2 or 3 months later, but we know him. We said, we have been around the block. Okay, give him migraine treatment and he did fine. Now this is a very lovely infant. And as you guys see here, she is sitting playing with her mom. I want you to watch. Oh, she jerked. So, diagnosis, infantile colic, paroxysmal tonic up gauge deviation, okay? Sandy Fire syndrome, infantile spasm, benign myoclonus of infancy.
Benign myoclonus of infancy. Benign myoclonus.
Who would say infantile spasm? Hands up. Who would say it's benign myoclonic of infancy? Okay. Zin. So this patient was benign myoclonus of infancy. But those who said it's infantile spasm, you can be right. Why? How do I find out? Because she did this one. The age can be. She did like this. EEG will be normal. So that's very helpful. Now I will show you this case. What is that? I repeat it? Sure, I can. Fijer, look at the second one. You did that? So it looks like it's infantile spasm, but basically it is not. Because the EEG, how do I know? The EEG is normal. I did the EEG, it's normal. Okay? Now,
What is the glitching factor in favor of micrometry?
EEG normal.
EEG.
Normal development, normal kid, normal playing. So this kid is basically, let me play the video. I want you guys to see this one. So. What is that? But this is not the question. The question is, what would you do next? Right? I would obtain EEG, and if EEG is normal, I would obtain 24 hours video versus ambulatory EEG. Observation and follow-up in 1 week. Brain MRI. You start United Kingdom infantile spasm protocol, high dose steroid, my favorite, or none of the above.
Show us again.
Hamza.
Brain MRI.
Brain MRI, excellent.
EEG.
EEG. And if it is normal, okay. One of the Dr. Thiel, she's at Boston Children's Hospital. She one time she said, I think it's infantile spasm. The kid already bought 24 hours with EEG. Because early the EEG can be normal, and usually the early sign you see in the EEG, posterior predominant abnormal sharp waves, and it can completely normal. So if you think about it, go for ambulatory EEG. Why? Because this is a seizure where we can make a difference. I have a few kids, I follow up them till now, they develop 6-month infantile spasm, now they are in the 3rd grade developmental level. I have seen a kid 6 months ago, I see one of my colleague, not cardiologist, pediatric, and he thought it's a colic. We did an EEG, it's crazy. It is typical hip therapy. Okay. Usually 4 to 6 months, insert, flexor, extensor or mixed, Usually EEG show Hibs arrhythmia, and I will show you that interictally. Most frequent ictal manifestation, electrodecremental response. Sudden attenuation of the background. Treatment ACTH. My favorite United Kingdom infantile spasm protocol, 10 milligram QID for 2 weeks. With no improvement after 1 week, I bump it up to 60 milligram, and I have 0 patient who did not respond so far. And it's very cheap, costs like probably 100 dirham. In America, ACTH was costing $100,000. And this protocol would cost, they bumped it up, because it's what they call orphan drug. So they have to bump it up. It costs $100,000. And while the steroid, it would cost you probably less than $200. Okay? That's Hibs arrhythmia. What do I mean by Hibs arrhythmia? This is attenuated. If you're going to pull it a full gain, it will all interlace. If you read the EEG this way, or if you flip it over, does not make any difference. High amplitude, disorganized, background, with poor synchrony between the right and left hemisphere. You can't see this is normal EEG if you compare with the old one. Okay? Now, this lovely lady. She was captured on EEG. They start doing photic stimulation, and all of a sudden, she started to seize. Okay, she is telling her, memorize the word can or whatever word. Okay? Enough? Diagnosis: pseudo-seizure, partial onset seizure with rapid generalization, gelastic seizure, syncopal attack, none of the above. Pseudo-seizure. Any other alternative? Okay. Eyes were closed, right? She was having hypothrusting. You know, it was fatigable. She would not go rhythmic. She was fatigable, and on top of that, she was having left to right head thrusting. That is typical pseudo-seizure. I would have diagnosed her even without doing a video EEG. Now, I would just take a few minutes to let you know that we would like you guys to join our mailing list from the American Child Neurology UAE. We send the latest articles in neurology, metabolic, genetic, and neurodevelopmental to all people who subscribe freely. We send it every month. And also, this lecture, and we have more than 60 lectures, including the latest pediatric neurology conference, the latest epilepsy conference, recorded and ready to view free on our website. The username Lee Amra, and the password for the video and for to come to see the lectures is 444. And the show. Keep this on. Yes. Please. Now can we go for questions? Any question, guys? Comments?
About the infantile spasms and this myoclonic seizures in infantile, how do you differentiate?
Yes. Normal development, normal physical examination, no developmental regression, very important, okay?
Myoclonic.
Myoclonics. And if you are in doubt, you would not have to get an EEG. Please, you would not have to get an EEG. But usually infantile spasm, they have developmental regression, but not necessarily. But this patient, you play her, would examine her and see her no regression, she's completely normal, physical exam is completely normal. And I tell you, I have seen all what I have told you in infantile spasm. So if you have doubt, get an EEG. As simple as it will solve your problem and it will cover your back also.
And EEG with the first episode, would you do it straight away or?
Wallahi, if I think about infantile spasm, I don't miss out. Believe me, this is the seizure where we can make a big difference. And I tell you, I have 3 or 4 patients from the first dose, they completely resolve, and one of them is 8 years old and he's completely healthy. If he is developmentally normal before the attack, if there's no developmental regression, if there's no structural MRI abnormality or genetic abnormality, usually the prognosis is excellent and they grow up normal. I pulled the study from Israel done on all the kids who did not have developmental regression, all the kids who did not have abnormal MRI, plus abnormal MRI, plus no genetic abnormality, 100% within phantasm they become normal.
The cryptogenic has a better prognosis or the other one?
What's that?
The cryptogenic infant spasm has a better prognosis or the other one has a better prognosis?
The genetic,
Cryptogenic infant lesson.
yes, that has.
no underlying cause.
Yeah, the idiopathic has much better prognosis. Especially if
You
there's
have to start very early, yes?
Yes.
within 3 weeks. Excellent. They start the treatment within 3 weeks. I have seen kids jerking for 4 months or 5 months before this one. See us. See us. Please.
Dr. Hamza, in your previous presentation, you said to abort seizure, you use a single dose to the maximum
What,
dose.
one medication?
Yeah, one medication,
And you push
single
down?
medication to push up to
Start
maximum.
low and go.
Does it, my question is, does it cause respiratory depression sometimes when you use that
Right.
single medication to a maximum dose
Absolutely.
in
Yeah.
children?
I have never seen that. With benzodiazepines, if you go fast, it might. But none of the long-term medication are benzodiazepines. They make them drowsy, yes. They will be drooling, they will be drowsy, they will be sleepy, the mom will be in your pocket wiggling, my kid is sleeping, I can't wake him up. I tell him, just calm down, give him time, and 3 weeks later, they don't even show up for the they expect no. And I have been through it. Other question, guys? Then I will hand the presentation to my buddy here. Thank you very much for your time. It's closing.